Everyone in Dubai wants fast returns. What's the hardest part about keeping that speed?
The first one actually to find the right property to acquire, because if you just do not acquire the right property, you'll have no chance to make any money.
Evgeny lost 400,000 dirhams on his first project in Dubai. But within 2 years, he built a model that sold over 100 million dirhams worth of property. A former WeWork and consulting executive turned real estate operator, Evgeny now runs one of the fastest moving property networks in Dubai. In this episode, he reveals how discipline, speed, and trust can outperform capital, and how speed became his new currency.
And once you found the good contractor might be a commodity, the whole process became like a game. If you have a cows and you want to scale, you just scale cows.
You're building the Blackstone of Dubai. What needs to go right for that to happen?
Dubai has this real clear vision on what they want to achieve in the next 15, 20 years. And Dubai is one of those very few places in the world where
everyone in Dubai wants fast returns. You've developed a system where they get it in 9 weeks. What's the hardest part about keeping that speed?
Personally, I lost around maybe 400 dirhams with the strong contractors, and
400,000.
400,000 dirhams. But once we actually found the one, I think the major constraint for me was because I'm not the construction guy, I'm more of a, let's say, money guy and the sales guy. And I believe that the main value in the flipping process basically creates not in construction, but in the right buying the right property, the creating the right product, and actually in optimizing the sales. And construction, once you found the good contractor, might be a commodity, but it's quite, difficult to find commodity. And once this constraint gone, the whole process became like a game. And I was able to focus on the things that I do good. I do much better than the average flipper in Dubai, let's say. Which is raising capital, acquiring the property, creating the right product, and streamlining the sales process actually to sell it as fast as possible. But this first 6 months were really, really brutal.
So you're talking about the first project, which was 5.5 million.
Yeah.
That you were supposed to flip in 9 weeks.
Yeah. It took a while. It took
and
much.
What did your investors think about you when it? You said it stretched then to 9 months. 6 months.
It's 9 months. 9 months almost. Yeah.
How did you deal with that? And what was your first success when you realized, okay, fine, now I have the system nailed down and now I can replicate this process?
Yeah. So the first project, the construction took us 3.5 months instead of 2 or 2.5. So, it took a while. Then we started in January and we actually finished in April. And then we just got into the summer season, which for this type of properties is not that good. So actually we stuck with sales for quite a while, and we managed to sell only in September. So instead of, let's say, 4 or maybe 4.5 month period that we personally, first we promised to the investor, it took us 9 months. And it cost us, I think, 150K of the uncovered cost, and we just delivered the minimum returns that we promised to the investor, which was 10% annualized. And we didn't make any money. Actually, we lost money. But having the skin in the game and taking this responsibility to us, it helped with building trust. When people understand that if everything is not going as planned, we're not, running away, but we are staying committed, staying involved, and we put in our own capital and we take loss on us. It helps us to maybe do repeated projects with those investors, or maybe they can recommend us to somewhere else. There are actually a few things which are the most important in our flipping process. The first one actually to find the right property to acquire, because if you just do not acquire the right property, you'll have no chance to make any money. And believe me, we acquired quite a few of those. Then the second one is the right construction process. When you just deliver the whole construction within this time frame without overrunning the budget, we actually got all the potential downsides that even you can imagine. So the first one.
Did you get the right location to start?
For the first 3, it was 50-50. So it started with that we just acquired the unit, which was not optimal. Because when you're selling something for higher price than average, the people who are buying that will have certain requirements for the view, for the floor, let's say, and a few others. And for the first 3 projects, 2 of them we just acquired the wrong floor, the wrong view. Then we had significant delays in construction because like the permits took forever, promised to deliver certain results. And when those results are not coming and there are certain hustles during the process. And we have a sophisticated reporting system to our investor when we actually do the reporting once a week with the videos and the photos and all the progress. And when nothing changes or very minor changes, are occurring week to week, people might be frustrated. But our investors, they have downside protection because I practically don't make any money until the investor achieves certain rate of returns, which gives them a sense that I have a skin in the game and that I will actually care about their money and about the process because I'm just virtually not making any money until I return money to them.
Excellent for explaining that. And, we're going to get more into those details later on in the show. What was the toughest moment for you in Dubai? And was there a time where you thought, I'm not going to be able to make it?
Oh, it was quite a few times when actually I had those thoughts. The first one was just to find a good contractor who will be executing all the construction works. And we struggled quite a lot into the first 3 projects until we found one. And first 3 projects took us like half a year, actually, which was a pretty significant period of time. We struggled a lot and we...
For now, I wanted to know from you, Evgeny, do you see yourself more as an operator, a developer, or do you see yourself more as a private equity building a machine?
It could be actually a mix of both. Because for the period of time that we have been operating here for this like 18 months, we were mostly an operator when we actually had few individual investors that give us a trust, and I have now a couple of family offices, which actually we are connected with. And we were acting more of an operator when we do the work, everything from picking up the property, then to execute the construction and then selling. I will actually make more details on that because it's pretty unique for Dubai. And then after the property is sold, we do revenue share with them. So that's mostly operating model. But for now, we're starting to get more requests from few different groups of investors. So the first ones, let's say professionals with not that significant amount of money, like the partners from consulting companies. They have maybe like $1 million or 2 dirham available for investing. They not necessarily would like to buy the whole property, and we have an average check of around 8 to 10 million dirham. But they like the strategy, they like our approach, and they would like to be involved. And for that, we putting together the vehicle where we could actually put together, let's say, 5 or 10 or 20 investors in one vehicle and could operate on a larger scale, maybe to acquire a villa. And then we have this interest from larger, more sophisticated investors like the family offices and maybe some private equity from outside the UAE. And from them, we could set up different types of vehicles. Maybe we could set up a fund or bunch of SPVs. So there's a lot of options actually how we could accommodate the that demand from that kind of public. So yeah, there's a lot of different options how we could meet this demand at the moment and to scale at a higher pace.
Great. So let's go back a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You started with WeWork.
Yep.
And then you did consulting.
So the first I did consulting quite a lot.
Okay.
And then it was WeWork.
And then, sorry. So
please.
You started with consulting and then WeWork and then Russia.
Mm-hmm.
What did that teach you about survival and building?
Survival and building. Interesting. Actually, this my work journey. It's pretty non-typical for the type of business which I'm doing at the moment. Healthy lifestyle and how you actually can feel good at your home, and just to put your attention to more valuable things to do in your life, not just to do the construction operation for you. Then WeWork gave me a few lessons on how fast you can scale the physical business. As WeWork, I think it's the highest pace physical business which scaled. And when I joined WeWork, WeWork had 150 locations throughout the world, and each location is an office building, 50,000 square feet each. And for 2 years that I've been with WeWork, I think we ended up with 900 buildings in 30 countries. I've been running sales in a few countries. And it's just incredible speed. Just imagine it's 700 buildings, 50,000 square feet each in, I think it's 23 countries, and UAE was one of them, by the way. And I was spoiled with having top construction guys, on my shoulder, and the top investment banking guys who did underwriting for the property. And I had just an easy part to tell the right story to the corporate people and, just to sell those amazing spaces. And I brought all this knowledge back to UAE just to be able to pick up the right property based on numbers and based on perception of the product that we're going to create actually to address to people who will be actually living there and call this space home. Then to streamline the construction process in a way that we build right expectations for ourselves and for the investors when we deliver right on time and within the budget that they allocate, and not getting any overruns. And then telling the right story to people who will be buying that, and which is even more important to the brokers, which actually help us to buy.
The story is super important.
Yeah, because
you came from a world of WeWork and consulting, which relies heavily on speed and structure.
Yeah.
When did you realize that speed was your advantage and not capital?
I think the speed is as much as important as the capital, but you have to pick up the right pace, because if you pick up the too high pace, unless your operations are set up in a way, and unless you have a chaos in operations, because if you have a chaos and you want to scale, you just scale chaos. So first, actually, you need to build
what is that?
chaos. I mean, like
Chaos, yes.
yeah, just the mess.
You're saying if you have a problem and you go on speed, then you're scaling chaos,
Yeah,
basically.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah. So first, actually, you have to set up the right processes, and then just to scale, because you can actually go from 1 to 3 properties for a year, or like for 3 years sometimes. But once you get this proper setup, you can scale from 3 properties to 30 like within a year, because you just understand what kind of people you need, what kind of contractors you need, what kind of capital actually you want to have, because not all investors are equal in terms of how comfortable and how effective you can deal with them.
So you helped WeWork and also consulting people scale their properties. But then you moved to Dubai and you decided to do it for yourself.
Actually, I the first year when I was in Dubai, I was in slightly different business. I was helping the one prop tech company basically to scale their international operations. But then I saw this opportunity of helping people to find their home, which was in completely, deficit in Dubai, let's say. Because, as I mentioned, the portrait of people who were relocating to Dubai starting 2023, maybe even 2022, was completely different to Dubai experience before. And I started to talk to those guys, and they were constantly complaining that once they bought something, on the blue waters, 3-bedroom for 10 million dirham, they were quite, let's say, unsatisfied with the quality of the internal fit out, because the location was fantastic, the infrastructure was amazing, but the quality of internal fit out was pretty basic. And there was actually one guy who was kind of inspiration for me, or let's say kind of a guide in terms of understanding this model works. He flipped like 30 properties for a year on the Blue Waters at 2022, and actually he accommodated quite a lot of people who were relocating from Russia and from the US to Dubai, and created for him.
Was he just flipping or also doing the construction and the upgrade part too?
He was flipping, but he outsourced the construction to certain GCs, and but he actually had his own quite large and sophisticated real estate broker, and he still has it. And he found this niche on the Blue Waters when he was able actually to do the construction within 6 weeks, slightly less sophisticated than we do, but it was good enough for people to get this difference and to make them to pay the premium for those properties. And actually, I just drilled down his business like I do in the good old consulting times. Built a spreadsheet, understood, like got this whole transactions from DXB Interact, put together the spreadsheet, understood that model really works. And that was my actually point when I saw this opportunity, and I wanted to be involved myself into.
But seeing an opportunity from someone else and then executing it on your own definitely has its challenges.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you're saying trust, but okay. So you came into a market like Dubai, which you didn't really start with a network here, and you've built your network on WhatsApp as opposed to like billion-dollar CRMs.
It's mostly
how is that different than the Western model here in Dubai?
I would define maybe two different parts in building the network. So the first one, building network of investors. Some investors came from my previous work experience and with people I had business before. But then very significant part actually came from building connections through the LinkedIn, which I think we connected with you through LinkedIn as well. And I hired actually the guys who set up the meetings for me. We defined the criteria of what kind of people I was interested to talk to. And they were mostly local entrepreneurs or family offices or maybe sometimes private equity.
Here in Dubai?
In the GCC region as well, in Europe, in the CIS countries, in the States. So I hired them and they basically filled my calendar with the meetings of those people who I pitched and who I just was hoping to get a potential interest of.
So LinkedIn is the way to go then?
LinkedIn is the way to build, let's say, a network of people that you can do business with. And out of LinkedIn, for example, I had my current one of the biggest investor, which is the local Emirati family office. And it took me like 2 years actually from the point when I first met them and to the point when they just committed to buy the first apartment with me. And it's really fascinating story. It's completely different profile.
Take us to it, because let's be real. Emiratis here you'd probably, the thinking might be, we're from here, we understand the real estate here. What got them to actually work with you then?
Emirati families, they are really different from other family offices I've been dealing with from Europe, for example. And trust is very important to them. So they are not really keen on investing in something new. And first time when I approached them, we just started our business here. We didn't have too much of a runway actually to show them that we're worth to consider to put their money into. But I followed up with them once we had first successes, and I invited them to have a look at the properties that we already built and sold. And as I mentioned, it took us 2 years actually to build this level of trust when they understood that we are reliable, we are transparent, and the business that we're building is not just the money machine, but something which creates, nice, beautiful product people really like and appreciate, and just creates homes. And it looks like building a legacy, and legacy is really important for Emirati family. And
what kind of an IRR would they be getting from that?
So the target IRR that we are perceiving is around 13% or 30% annualized, and usually investors getting something between 60 and 75% of the profit. So usually those type of investors, they would like to receive not less than 20% returns, which we're able to return because as I mentioned, we did have few cases which were not really interesting for the investors, or they were not satisfied when we returned like 10% annualized. But then there were a few cases when we returned 40%, even 45% annualized, which were much more, let's say, appealing. And once we're getting all those new lessons and we minimizing the amount of properties which we buy, which potentially might flop, but maximizing the amount of properties which will bring high returns than average, this type of investors become more calm and chill, and they understand that they are not investing to something new and high risk, but investing in something which already has some traction and has some skin in the game from myself as an operator.
So it's very important. Okay, so you said 100 million, and then you said IRR of 30%. These are big numbers.
Yeah.
What is that discipline that keeps you in check and prevents you from becoming overconfident?
The most major thing is just to reflect what I do. I personally, every week I have kind of a reflection hour when I analyzing what I've done throughout the week. And actually on Fridays, I usually send the reports to the investor on what have been done throughout the week and what expected to be done next week. And it just forces me to pay attention to those small details and to get those lessons to make less mistakes and maybe to notice more perspective things which potentially might improve either our returns or to improve, let's say, our resilience and our business model. And I think that is very important. And I try to share those details with my investors as well.
Up or down?
Both. Because you just cannot, say that everything is all right when something is not all right.
True.
And when I openly share that there were some unexpected, downsides, and because investors they value transparency a lot, and of course people who make a lot of money, they went themselves through different times, and they understand that it's much better to get the bad news first than
Yes.
to get it under the carpet and to understand it like in a few months after it actually happened. So this complete transparency and constant, let's say, this feedback loop.
The weekly, it's so interesting you say that. Most startups that I see are successful, they run it like a weekly.
On sprints, yeah.
On the sprints, weekly sprints. And, you say the same thing in properties. But now I want to jump and understand, when you, what's your buy box? If you're looking to buy a property, what are you looking for?
So the first, actually, there's a few thresholds which are, just by default. So we are buying something which usually costs not less than 7-8 million dirham, because we tried to work in the lower budgets. We didn't like it for a number of reasons. So that's just the first one. And then we're trying to understand what will be the portrait of people who will be buying that. And we usually target the families with kids, 1 or 2 kids, because those people value their time and they are willing to pay the premiums for the finished product already. So they don't want to be involved, in any construction or whatever, because they have so much things to do.
But okay, 7 to 8 million. But how do you decide which one?
7-8 is starting point. So for now, we're starting to work with villas, and villas is higher segment, like 20 million, maybe 30 million. And then we have certain areas that we work in. And those areas were defined by different criteria. So first we look into the amount of transactions which are happening in the area, which just say that it will be a demand for that. Then we are going to the buildings which are usually not older than 2019, because I think that starting that point, the construction quality of Dubai developers, it improved pretty significantly.
After 2019?
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
And they are quite new buildings which do not require, let's say, too sophisticated scope of work, because otherwise we might have to be involved into much sophisticated work, which will just make the construction process not 2 months like we usually target, but maybe 4 months or 5 months or 6 months. So we want to avoid that. And then we narrow down to specific views, specific floors, specific layouts.
Do you always get the sea view? Or
we try to get a view which people will be willing to pay for. Because, for example, on the beachfront, we operate quite extensively. People usually willing to pay the premium for the palm view. The trick with the palm view that you want to buy on the floors 15 and higher, because after 15th floor, you actually get the proper palm view, because below 15, there will not be a real palm view and people will not be actually willing to buy that. But interesting enough that the opposite side, which is a marina view, the best case that we had in terms of returns, it was on the 7th floor, because people just get this sense of in close proximity to boats, and the marina in beachfront is pretty
Interesting.
cool one. So that's the next one, and then you have to go for specific layouts, because layout is something which creates the right feeling of home, and even with a similar square footage, the layout is crucial, because, for example, the living room creates actually the major perception of space, and you always want to go for a corner unit with a large amount of glass, which will actually get a lot of light inside, because if you are in the middle one in a boxy apartment, which is deep, you just don't get right amount of light, and people will not feel right. So amount of units, even without the specific building, that we are able to acquire for our flipping model is quite low. So I'd say maybe like 5% of the units, maybe 10% of the units which are on sale. And it took me a lot of time to understand and to drill down this, let's say, logic, what kind of properties you want to acquire, and even the more important, what kind of properties you don't want to acquire.
So you said minimum 7 to 8 million, corner unit, good layout for the living room.
Yeah, right layout. I would say right layout. Yeah. Right layout. And then it goes down to a product that you're creating over there. And it goes then understand what will be the target audience for that. So for example, just an example of beachfront. On the beachfront, our typical buyer is a European family with a couple of kids. And we're buying only 3 beds and 4 beds on the beachfront, which will be the appropriate actually property for this type of buyer. On the floor, which will be optimal for different types of the building. And then it goes to creating the right product, because all the 3 beds and the 4 beds, they go with a maid's room. But it turns out that no one needs a live-out maid on the beachfront. But what people have...
They don't want to live out, they want to live in.
No, they don't want to live in. They sometimes want to live out, but in most of the cases, they not necessarily even need a maid. They maybe need kind of outsourcing service. But interesting thing that despite the size of the flat of the apartment, the main thing which they are lacking is the storage space and the walk-in closets. And we're starting to transform the maid's room into the closets. And as you probably know, that when a family buys the house, the main decision maker who is actually making the decision is a wife.
Now I want to go back to perception of people usually think that it takes a long time to make money in real estate. They say it's pretty slow, but you're running it like a private equity model. What is the hardest part about it? And what happens if you go too far, too fast?
If you go too far, too fast, you just break stuff. Because you don't want to scale the mess. Otherwise, you'll have mess on scale, which we want to avoid. The hardest part at the moment, we're moving at a speed when we have kind of a runway that we could actually demonstrate. And so the main challenge for me now is just to get few high-check properties acquired and to get a little bit of runway over that. So my main focus is basically to build this necessary level of trust with the investors, to keep them happy, because happy investor, more opportunities.
What is that biggest mental shift that someone needs to make to survive in a Dubai market?
Maybe from my experience, I would share my experience. Maybe it might work for someone else. That you have to be really, really careful and precise with what you are promising to people in order to build trust. And you're keeping all the people involved happy, the opportunities will arise and everything will be good.
I see a lot of people in real estate, but you've mastered speed. What does it cost you personally?
Sleepless nights, the time with my family, probably. If we move too fast, we manage to, had not quite a lot of unpleasant talks to the people who we've been working with, partners. When you ask your partner maybe to delay the payment and to execute something, not on time, and then with the investors when our promise not necessarily were in line that was actually happening. But in any case, you should be talking to people, and you should show them that you will be with them not only in good times but in bad times as well. And
Very
you're
interesting
willing.
you say that, even in the bad times, because
Yeah.
that's kind of what builds trust, right?
Oh yeah, and that you're willing to take losses, not only to be an operator who just gets some commission, but to have your own skin in the game, and to be willing.
Like, what is that reality? Big numbers, and you've done really well, but what is the reality behind that people really don't see?
I think like people underestimate the probability of the scenarios where something does not go as planned.
What percentage is that doesn't go as planned?
The closer to the beginning, the higher the percentage, I would say. So
That it doesn't work.
Yeah. So I mean, on the first 3 projects, everything went south, like a lot. Both with our internal processes and with the relationship with the investors and like everything. And in this period of time, it's very, very crucial to always stay in touch with everyone who's involved, because avoiding those hard talks basically will just cost much more in the long run. How they say, hard decisions, easy life, easy decisions, hard life. So actually you want to make as much of hard decisions as possible and to not avoid them. Otherwise, it will be just, hard life after that. And that, for me, was one of the major lessons, I would say, because the amount of hard decisions that we had to do initially was pretty staggering, and, guilty that we were not always, fulfilling our obligations, even if we tried to. And I think that part of the business that people, especially who are starting their business, not really pay
now
too
like
much
if
attention.
a young operator comes, someone in their early 20s comes to you and says, look, I really respect you, I want to build what you built.
Yeah.
What is that thing that you tell them, a hard truth that you wish someone had told you back then?
Always plan for worst case scenario. That should be a really, really important part of building a business. Always keep in mind what's going on, what will be going on in the worst case scenario. Because if you do not set up, let's say, your documents with investors in the right way, that might cost you a lot. Because investors are not happy when something goes not as planned, and they might want to recover their losses at your expense.
So you're saying, so the advice you'd give them is basically prepare for the worst, worst case scenario, and have your documentation in place so the investor doesn't flip on you.
Yeah, so that's one of the things which potentially might happen, and we had those risks, and we lost a little bit of money because we actually didn't put the legal documents in the right way from the beginning, and that's the thing which a lot of people underestimate, because they start on vibes. When you sell something, everybody is just very, very optimistic, and people tend to overestimate the probability of the good case scenario and underestimate the probability of the worst case scenario. So I would suggest to not be too optimistic and to always be prepared for the worst case scenario. And that's why those weekly updates help a lot, because you'll be able to identify the potential problems as early as possible and to minimize the downside effect of those problems, and maybe to put some measures to recover some losses which potentially might occur. So that's the hard truth that a lot of people are ignoring. And what I saw actually, that people might even start really, really good and to have those first few projects done as planned, and then double down. And when you double down, you don't put a lot of attention on the worst case scenario. The potential loss might be double from if you compare it actually.
So it's actually better to make a loss in the beginning.
So you should fail as early as possible.
Fail as early. So you're saying for a first-time operator who has nice plans and is thinking, okay, everything's going to go as planned, you're saying plan actually for the worst case.
Yeah.
Wish for the best case, plan
Yeah.
for the worst, make sure you're protected against your investors, but keep a rhythm where there's trust. So
Absolutely,
they,
yeah.
go back and forth so that no matter what happens, you have still honesty.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a good takeaway. We are men, we need to conquer, we need to win, and we want to achieve something great. We want excellence.
So what is that excellent? Is it a number in your account or is it the structure you build?
I think it's long-term level of not having any thought about taking care of, the things. I mean, when
When you
amount
say
of
take
money
care of
that
the
I
thing-
have
yeah.
are structured in a way when the family is not thinking about actually having any issues with money. So everything is taken care of. You have the certain lifestyle you're happy with. You have your own, let's say, schedule you work. You have an opportunity to maybe invest in something else. Your own work.
You said you play sports. What sports do you play?
When I got to Dubai, actually, I started to play paddle. I used to play tennis, and I used to do triathlons. I've done like 15 half Ironmans. And the sport is basically the instrument for removing stress and to getting the focus.
Would you say you're a very competitive person?
Above average, of course, yeah. I would not say that I'm super competitive. Otherwise, I would be in the sports. But of course, I'm competitive. Otherwise, it just doesn't make any sense to the business, Otherwise, you'll not take any amount of risks on you.
Yeah, no, I meant, at the paddle game, are you someone that always wants to win or do you just...
Of course. I mean, well, I always want to win. And but then it's very important to not get really hard on yourself or on the partner, because it's very hard to actually destroy the right setup. Because if you want to be really, really aggressive or, to pay a lot of attention on the mistakes, you will not be successful,
Evgeny, you've done really well and shared your knowledge with us. We're now going to jump to the rapid fire round.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a question and you can answer in one word or in one sentence.
Shoot.
What's the first thing you do when you wake up?
I take care of my kids because I have to get them into the school. Before that, I used to do 10 minutes meditation and the stretching. I try to get back to that, but once we don't have anyone who's helping us in the moment, I have my own routine in the moment when I prepare kids to school. While my wife with the kids, they have like 20-minute nap before they wake up. So I'm taking care of the family.
Great. What's one deal you wish you never touched?
Actually, there is one deal which I'm at the moment of exiting with one of the investors. And with this investor, I made this classic mistake when the terms of our interaction were not defined very, very clear from the beginning. And we bought not the right apartment in the building where he actually wanted to buy, not myself.
So you listened to him and bought somewhere you shouldn't have.
Because I really wanted to start to work with him. And actually, we proposed to buy the unit, which was okay, but ended up not buying that. And in order to engage him in business with us, we ended up buying not optimal apartment, which was not obvious for us at the beginning. But it turns out that it was not the right pick. And we didn't define the terms of interaction with him on the level which should be. And for now, actually, we have this scenario when everything does not going as well as planned. And the level of returns that he expected is not happening. And we are now in kind of a negotiations on how we could actually make things work in a way where we could deliver him returns lower than he expected, but my, let's say, loss will not be that significant.
Okay. What is one habit that separates a real operator from a dreamer?
I think this frequent reflection on what's going on compared to what's planned, and then communicating it in the right way to the stakeholders. I think it's something which is really, really important. Everyone should be doing and should not be underestimating. And it helps me a lot. Just keeps me in the game and in the reality of what's going on. To not be somewhere in the clouds like cloud 9, and to really be true to myself and to other stakeholders. Yeah.
What is one luxury that actually slows people down?
The basic comfort. Basic comfort, which is
why do you think
okay.
so? Yeah.
Because the people tend to avoid making decisions which will change their life a lot by getting the basic comfort. Because for me, it's still a problem. Because it just, it really does not helping into maybe putting a right amount of discomfort. And I personally do this exercise on maybe monthly basis on revising my goals and aiming higher than I would like to, or maybe I considered to before, in order to, to stay more fulfilled, to accomplish my mission a lot. But this basic level of comfort, it just gives you the level of comfort which prevents you from taking a discomfort decisions. So I think that's the main enemy.
CEO of NVIDIA, he said, I hope you struggle. I hope things happen to you. And I think that was for me also a clear sign that if someone, who's running such a big company is wishing people go through discomfort to be able to do something great.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's actually the enemy of success because you just get comfortable.
And the pursuit of happiness, maybe, because the happiness is not necessarily the condition they should be in all the time, because otherwise you're just not growing.
It becomes boring also.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's a vacation when it's too long? It's not a vacation anymore. It becomes discomfort.
Absolutely.
You want to go back to. All right. WhatsApp or Excel?
WhatsApp or Excel? I have to do both, because they're just a little bit different. Before that, I think it was Excel. Now it's WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. So relationships.
Yeah.
All right. What's one thing people in Dubai still underestimate about you?
I think that I might be doing better in communicating the level of ambitions that I would like to achieve and amount of capital and the level of partners that I would like to have next to me in order to achieve those higher goals. So I think I need to be more specific in communicating those type of goals to people that I'm talking to, because interesting that the more people you talk to disclosing more information about yourself, the more opportunities actually are arising. Because when people who I'm talking to feel or think that they might connect to that or that might be interesting, they definitely would like to be involved, or maybe they can recommend someone to hire or to talk to or whatever, maybe to go to some podcast. And I think communicating what you would like to achieve is really, really important. And to build trust within new category of investors that I would like to approach. Because before that, we were dealing mostly with the retail investors.
When it comes to long-term growth, you said you're building the Blackstone of Dubai. What needs to go right for that to happen?
Yeah, so the building this private equity structure is one of the things that we are pursuing at the moment. We not necessarily want to move too fast, and we want to explore what kind of opportunities might arise from the pace that we are working and what we are doing, because opportunities are around. And for example, we might start for now with kind of a boutique redevelopment of villas. Then we might end up with building, larger buildings. Or I see a lot of requests, and one of our investors actually, they proposed that as part of their mission, they would like to build affordable housing for students, for example.
Student housing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That might be a really interesting thing. And to build this type of stuff, you really need to optimize the construction and all the other operational processes. And I just want, keep looking around for those opportunities and where I could bring value to my investors and what kind of product we could create actually to fulfill those gaps in the markets. Because Dubai has this real clear vision on what they want to achieve in the next 15, 20 years. And Dubai is one of those very few places in the world where people actually put money next to what they're talking about and their energy and resources. And just looking into this vision, you can identify those niches that you would like to focus at.
You were saying that your investors, they want you do the weekly calls with them, where they want transparency but not involvement. How do you build a rhythm to keep that trust?
That's just really creating the rhythm. It's just repetition. So to create right habit, you need a certain amount of repetition, and the trust needs that amount of repetition as well. And it's just then the function of the expectations of people on how they would like to be involved. Because sometimes people need this weekly cadence. Sometimes if people are busy, they are okay with a monthly, for example, or bi-weekly. So it's a thing about understanding what are the expectations of different type of investors. And the trust is basically the function of how we could fulfill those expectations. And I try these days to under-promise and over-deliver, because if to do vice versa, it's just not good for trust.
Yes, exactly.
So that is basically building that kind of relations when people trust you, and if they trust you and they receive the value from me, they more than willing to recommend me as an operator to their friends or to their partners or whatever. And that just helps me to expand my operations and to build my business in a better way.
Let's say, okay, what's a quote or a rule that you live by?
I like Tony Robbins a lot. And everyone thinking that he's saying simple things, but those simple things are arising from enormous amount of experience that he was through, and I think a lot of people can relate. And one of my favorite quotes is, if you do right things, right results will come. So do the right things, you will get right results. If you don't do right things, you will not get the right results. So I'm trying to do the more right things than I do wrong. And I understand that the more right things I do, the better results I will receive. And, can I say that something about the poker?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I play poker for quite a lot period of time. And poker is a game which people, I don't think they think what it is. And
oh, by the way, I play home games too with no
really?
money. Yeah. So I understand the game of poker. We don't play with money. I used to play just for fun.
Yeah.
But I understand very deeply the game of poker. So go ahead, tell me about poker.
Yeah.
What is it that you learned from poker?
Because the poker, I think it's one of the best, or the thing which is closest to life. Because the poker is basically, you have to make decisions which have, let's say, the highest expectations of receiving the profit or receiving the good results. So it's not gambling, basically. So it's understanding on how you want to make decisions when you lack of information. And the more good decisions you do, the better results you have. And the more bad decisions you do, the worse results you have. And I'm actually a fan of understanding on how decisions I do every day, are they good decisions or bad in terms of expectation, what will going to happen actually after I make these decisions. And that's about for example, hard talks. Because that potentially, if you don't do the hard talk, it's a decision with a low expectation, which potentially might harm in the long run. If you do the hard talk, you won't have the amount of profit that actually you might receive in the future. And I think it's a great analogy on how we actually run our life. And me as a person, or I actually got a good podcast that I was listening to where Jeff Bezos was on. And he was mentioning that his main thing or his main job is to do few really high quality decisions throughout the day.
He doesn't need to do everything.
Yeah. And my job as someone who is running the company is to do few really high impact decisions throughout the day. And the condition from which I make these decisions actually make a lot of sense. Because if I feel bad, with a higher probability, the quality of the decisions that I'm going to do will be bad.
Exactly like poker when you're on tilt and
That's
you
right.
lost a hand and now you're in another hand and you just need to win a small win and your ego tells you call, raise, but you know you should fold.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's why I'm trying to track my condition, and I intentionally avoid making decisions when my condition is not optimal.
How do you know that you're in that condition?
I do some monitor, which basically just measures by the heart rate, which is my energy level, what is my stress level, and so on. And I even understand that what I should do actually to improve my level. So I'm a big fan of taking a 15-minute nap on the afternoon. Because basically after I'm getting like a really short nap, I have another maybe 2 hours of high quality, high input job that I potentially might do.
Yeah.
So I'm a fan of basically aligning those decisions with the condition that I'm at. So I'm not doing any major decisions in the evenings.
So it's first thing in the morning, you'll wake up and try and make those high quality decisions?
I try to do it like my most productive period of time is between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m.
Okay.
And I'm trying to do as much of important stuff within this time frame.
So we're having this podcast at 11 a.m.
Yeah. So thank you for
Thank you for showing up at your best time. I want to ask you one last thing before we end the podcast. If you lost everything today, where would you start?
It definitely will be Dubai. I think it's the place which just grants you enormous amount of opportunities.
For some reason, I've noticed also personally, when you deal with people that are willing to spend more and more on the upper part of the curve, the quality of the interaction also is much higher.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you get more, faster communication. You get more.
Because those people are no BS people.
They value time.
Yeah. So they usually, if they want something, they are very strict and direct. If they don't, actually, I am not afraid to hurt anyone's feelings, and I really appreciate that. It's just really save time. Yeah, it saves a lot of time.
All right. Before we end this, I wanted to ask you, if someone made it this far in the episode and they don't press the subscribe button on this channel, what is your advice for them?
Do the right things and the result will happen. Yeah, I think that's the main thing. But it's interesting that to understand those simple quotes, you have to go through a lot of bad stuff. And I noticed that all those, ancient or old books and old philosophers, which I, read when I was a student or when I just began my career, like in any corporation or whatever. And when I'm rereading them at the moment, with all my experience I have at the moment, they lay completely different, and they are perceived completely different. So, I would say like you should do as many things as possible. Get lessons learned from that. Be nice to people, and do the right thing, and the right result will happen.
You've built speed in a market that worships size. That's very rare. So thank you for coming on the show and sharing your knowledge with us.
Thank you. Pleasure was all mine. Thank you.
Thank you so much.